having his
Hey,
way.
hey.
Oh, I'm dancing.
Oh, he's dancing.
okay.
We're dancing on the intro of this. All right, here we go.
But
I'll
there's
put
no
some music
music
right here. I'm dancing. Hey, use your imagination. Who knows what we're gonna put in there? You never know.
And that's
Yeah,
it, ladies.
there you go.
Night. Oh,
Yeah.
what a night.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I can't use that one because it's copyright. Oh, what a night.
But I'm
You
singing
know what I
it.
mean? Yeah.
Cover.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the Wannabe Network, and I am your host, Gabriel Fast. I kind of sounded like the Saturday Night Live guy just then. It's the Wannabe Network, featuring
Maybe
Elijah, featuring Elijah Middlesworth and Mikey Collins.
Who's the special guest?
Me, baby. Me.
Special guest is my son because he snuck up on me like out of nowhere. He's just standing right here now.
So
Yeah.
Pops.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep lore. Okay. Anyways, tonight we are reviewing Mandalorian Chapter 20, which is called what, gentlemen? The
Covenant.
The Foundling, Chapter 20. Mikey, what did you think of the last episode?
It felt like Andor, kinda. Remember, I mentioned that to you earlier.
Yeah, I think Ethan said the same thing.
Did he? Yeah, because I don't know. It was. I felt it felt a lot like that show where it was just like kind of meh to me. It was cool, but I don't know.
I mean, what didn't you like about it?
It just didn't progress the story of Mando.
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors
that I shall walk the way of the Mandalore.
that I shall walk the way of the Mandalore.
Din Djarin claims to have bathed in the living waters.
He speaks the truth. Din Djarin, you are redeemed, and Bo-Katan Kryze, you too are redeemed.
But I do not walk the way.
Did you bathe in the waters?
I did.
And have you removed your helmet since?
No.
Then you may join our covert. Welcome, Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze. You are one of us.
So opening scenes, like opening shots, all of the Mandalorians on the beach, right? Kind of doing their thing. Did it feel like there's more of them than we originally thought? I thought a bunch of them got killed like 2 seasons ago.
I mean, I feel like they never said that they got killed. They just showed a bunch of armor. So I don't know if that was supposed to mean like they collected a bunch of armor or if they did all die or what. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, why would they kill them and then put all their armor in a pile?
Well, I mean, they're all the ones from that little hideout could have died. I mean, there's more Mandalorians in the universe. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
They were by themselves in Boba Fett, so I mean, they could have been the last ones and then eventually regrouped and found this planet. So I mean, and we don't know exactly how much time has passed between those events either.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool how they seem like organized, they seem militant, they seem like maybe, dare I say, a shadow of their former selves. And Bo-Katan is kind of like they like zoom in on the camera on Bo-Katan, and she's like kind of looking around and like observing all these things. And I can't help but wonder, is she thinking like there needs to be a new Mandalorian rule and I need to be the one to rule it because it's my right? Or is she thinking we have an opportunity to build, like, you know, I saw a mythosaur. Maybe we do have an opportunity to rebuild Mandalore of old, you know? I don't know. Like, where do you guys think Bo-Katan is kind of falling whenever she sees all this training happening on the beach?
I feel like, well, they kind of hinted at it in I think the previous episode, or it might have been 2 episodes ago, where she was like, my whole crew left me. Like, I have nothing. So I don't know if she's about to dedicate her life to that. I just think she sees it as, oh, I can get a crew pretty easy right now. I kind of fallen into this. That's what I think she's doing.
I second that. That's what after the second time I watched it, That's totally the vibe I'm getting. The first time, not so much, but I think I was just kind of immersed in the story, and just the fact that it felt like legit old school Star Wars to me again.
Yeah.
Kind of got lost in it, but the second time I noticed it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love not quite knowing what's going to happen. I mean, it's really just kind of a coin toss. Like, she could do the right thing. I mean, she could do what would be like viewed as the right thing from her family's perspective, because she's kind of always been a rebel a little bit, you know. So maybe she's thinking like, oh, this could be an opportunity for me to like take my claim as ruler of this new thing. It's obvious that we have potential to be something again, you know. So I don't know, like I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with her story, because I feel like they're trying to guide us in a direction of, you know, kind of like what we're saying, like maybe it's ill-intentioned, but what if she is kind of like, yeah, I want to rule Mandalore, and then she has to fight Din or something like that? Do you think that's a possibility?
At this point, I think anything's a possibility. Like,
Yeah.
everything that I never thought would happen is so far kind of happening. Like, I never thought we'd spend, you know, get to Mandalore that quickly, and never would I thought we would have seen an actual mythosaur like confirmed. A lot of things are happening, so it's a coin toss, I think.
Yeah, no, I love the idea of potentially there being some time skips. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah.
Moving a little bit forward though. Oh, go ahead.
What were the guys with the guns shooting at on the beach?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what?
They were just shooting straight across the water. I watched it twice. I was like, what are they aiming at?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No,
We're just having fun. I do that. I just shoot in the water randomly.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fun. It just blow some steam off.
Yeah, but
no,
they're
it's
in
true.
training though. It's different. Like,
yeah, I mean, well, maybe some of them were just, you know, just getting a feel for weapons or something. I don't know.
maybe.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of the equivalent.
Men.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the equivalent, like in movies when you see like a band playing, and like when you really look carefully, they're not really like playing their instrument. You know what I mean? It's just something to kind of have going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moving forward a little bit, we go to where Grogu is playing with the crabs, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything stand out to you guys about that scene?
Yes.
Okay, anyone can go. I don't care.
Oh, well, I just feel like they're trying to make a lot of connections between him and what's his hootie from Rebels, like that he's so connected to animals as well. It's just reaffirming that I think he's gonna be either in the show or in some show soon. There's too much hinting at that to not happen, but that was the main thing I noticed about that.
Well, what did I say? I think I said it in last week's episode, Gabe, but Ezra Bridger is a confirmed character, at least by Google's standpoint, in the Ahsoka show. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, you look up, you type in Ahsoka, you know, cast, and there is someone select for Ezra Bridger.
I keep forgetting she has a show coming. Like,
yeah. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Right. Like, I wonder, because I'm sorry, Gabe.
No, you go.
I just think that like they're going to connect him at some point. So I wonder if like it's going to be a reaching out in the Force situation, like as if Grogu actually like, because even Din is like, use your stuff, man. Like, do it. Like, keep using it. So I feel like he's gonna finally dive into it just a little bit, and he's gonna reach out to him. I could see that happening. That'd be really cool. But...
So, side question, and I don't know if there's an answer to this or not, but is Ezra technically a Jedi? Or, I mean, he never completed his training, so is he technically a Jedi?
I don't think so, but neither is Grogu.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I mean, is that where Grogu learns, you know, his Force abilities? I mean, Luke can't train him because Luke wants him to be a Jedi, but he's obviously wanting to stay with Dad and the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
So is this the loophole to where he gets trained?
Well, and that's the thing too, is eventually if Ezra and Grogu connect, and Ezra has the ability to use this whales, then we don't know how that works, if it manipulates time or what. So what if he takes Grogu with him and then they show up? Oh, did I cut out again?
No.
What if Ezra takes Grogu and then they warp towards past, you know, the next time they're like needed to bring balance or something, you know, like even after Rey's time, you know, I don't know. Like, I think It's again, we're just talking like if we're gonna theorize fan theories,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I
don't see Grogu ever leaving this series. I feel like they had an opportunity several times already, and they always revert it.
Well, what if they've been hinting at it the whole time, like, hey, get ready, and like they give us those moments where it feels like we're not gonna see him again, or you know, and what if that's their hint each season? It's like, hey, we've been telling you the whole time that it's not going to stay this way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
yeah, I could see. Go ahead.
No, I was say like they put him in peril consistently. Like
Yeah.
he's getting swapped around like I don't even know what.
Beach Ball and Nickelback concert.
Yeah, a beach ball at a Nickelback concert. Thank you. Damn
See,
right.
I take that more as they're preparing us for Grogu to go different places. Not that something's gonna happen to him. I'm thinking
No. Not that something's gonna happen to him, but this thing that we have, Grogu and Din, like we're not always going to yeah, we're not always going to have that.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were saying otherwise. Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
If there is a time jump thing or something where Grogu gets taken, I feel like that will be the catalyst to be like, he's gone, oh, and he's back, and also he's 100 years older now. Like maybe something like that happens.
Well, yeah,
but
exactly.
But I don't see him like leaving for like a whole season or something. I don't know. I feel like he's too embedded in the story now.
Well, yeah, I'm just
and with the
thinking,
fan base.
Yeah, I mean, like we're getting like this core character to like kind of grow up with now a little bit. Yeah. Like they're telling this story to a whole new generation of kids. They're going to want to have this character a part of their lives for a long time. So I'm just thinking like, what's the most practical way to do that? And you know, what are the possibilities? Like, this is one thing I was thinking about. Like, what do Cal Kestis, and Grogu have in common? They both survived Order 66, right?
Oh,
and I guess,
okay.
you know, I guess technically, what's his head? Ezra did. Well, no, Ezra didn't know he had Force abilities.
Yeah.
What was his master?
Oh man, I have his action figure right there.
I know. What is his name?
It's not Kanan, is it?
Yeah.
Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus. Yes. So yeah, all three of them have that in common, and it's like that seems to be a story that's being told. Like, what if? I don't know. What if they're trying to like connect like the Jedi Order and like the Mandalorians together somehow?
I hope they do.
You know what I mean?
Sick.
In a lot of ways, they're a lot alike. You know, whether the Jedi want to admit it, they were a warrior race. You know, they're warrior wizards. These are warriors. You know, and they're both extinct by hands of the Empire.
Right.
You know, they parallel each other a lot, and they have strict rules. And if you don't obey those rules, hey, you're out.
Yep. Yeah, I just find it really interesting. It's crazy to think about where it could possibly go in the future. So I want to move it along. So now, you know, we're starting to see Grogu get some training, right? He has to fight this other Foundling, which we come to learn is Ragnar Vizsla, which is Paz Vizsla's son. So kind of interesting. Did you guys expect to see Grogu doing some Yoda flips during this sequence? I mean, they already did it once. How did you feel about it? How did you feel about it whenever you saw it?
It felt kind of janky, honestly. That's probably one of those parts where I was just like, just do CGI. Maybe just do CGI, because you can tell it's just all doing this and he's like, it's getting to the point too with him where it's just like when they do like special movement and stuff, you can really tell it's a doll now. And like, I don't know. I feel like that's holding them back a little bit.
I think that gives it a little bit of charm though. Like it gives it that Star Wars charm. Like, I mean, it feels like old Star Wars to me. Like it's obviously a pup, and it feels like at home for me, like watching the Return of the Jedi for the first time. And seeing all the puppet work.
Man, I don't know though, because even old Yoda though in Return of the Jedi, he was a little more well done, like mechanically.
They're taking liberties with Grogu that they didn't take with Yoda.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it, I guess. Like I love it.
That's kind of how I feel. I kind of feel like it was one of those things where it was like we're doing this because we're doing this because we can type thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it worked for the plot. It's like, okay, and it is showing us, even if it is a little bit cheesy, it is showing us, you know, Grogu's potential, his abilities. even now, and also how he can understand what's being asked of him, even if he doesn't directly communicate himself.
Right.
But whenever he wins and like says pew 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 and gets Ragnar Vizsla, I was like, go Grogu.
Yeah.
I liked that line where he says, "One doesn't speak unless one knows."
I really, really dug that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was rad. I was like, oh man, Mandalorians are freaking badasses.
Code.
Then after that, it's like, it was just kind of like bam, 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 all of a sudden. Then what they call it, the Raptor, right? The Raptor shows out of nowhere. And then we kind of get the setup for this episode, or at least a part of this episode. It's basically going to be a quest to go and get this Foundling that got captured by, the Raptor or whatever. So right after that, after Grogu wins his match, he goes to the Forge. After it's been established that they're going to go and get the Foundling, and that got captured by the Raptor or whatever it was called. And
which was
Grogu,
Ragnar Vizsla.
Yeah, which was Ragnar Vizsla, right? Then Grogu goes to the Forge with the what's her face, the Smith.
This is the Forge. It is the heart of Mandalorian culture. Just as we shape the Mandalorian steel, we shape ourselves. We all begin as raw ore. We refine ourselves through trials and adversity.
So we get this like really cool sequence of her forging this metal piece, for Grogu to go over. It's like a little breastplate. And I'm like, oh, he's totally going to get shot. We're going to think he's dead. But oh, surprise, he has the breastplate under him. Calling it now, just saying. It was really cool, though, to see the symbol. And just kind of how they're, keeping the continuity and all that. It was really cool. So let's talk about the Order 66 sequence, though. As she's forging, his breastplate, he starts to get the PTSD, and we finally got an answer to who saved Grogu. Does anyone know who it is?
I know who that actor is. I don't know the guy, the
So-
Jedi, but I know who.
So yeah, it turns out that guy, I looked him up. I was like, is this a real? So it's a actual Jedi.
It is
the host of Jedi Academy or whatever, that reality show they did on Disney Plus. Or not reality show, it's like competition show. But the Jedi's name is
okay.
The Jedi's name is Kelleron Beck. And he's played by Ahmed Best, who we know as Lige. You want to take it away?
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks, baby. Same actor.
Yeah.
And what an honor, honestly, to be given such like a pivotal part. I mean, it's like, holy crap, that's the guy that saved Grogu. And in a really cool fashion, I might add, with the two lightsabers. It turns out that Jedi, Kelleron Beck, they gave him a nickname, like the sword master or something. Like he was noted to have like a really great skill with a lightsaber, especially two lightsabers. So it's kind of cool to see that happen.
Makes that scene make sense.
Yeah, it was really cool. So cool little side note. But now we get an answer to what happened. So we know that Grogu spent some time with Kelleron Beck. It would be really, I think it would be really interesting if they somehow weaved Grogu into that kids competition show somehow. I mean, that seems like something Disney would do, right?
Maybe.
I'm sure he'd make a guest appearance.
Yeah, something along those lines. So where do we
there
think... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, go. You're good.
There was just only one thing about that like scene when they opened the door that I was sad about. I was like, please be a purple lightsaber. Please be a purple lightsaber. And they opened it, and
you wanted to be Mace Windu so
really
bad,
badly,
yeah.
really badly. But that's okay. But yeah, as soon as I saw that he had like defining marks and stuff on him, I was like, okay, he's somebody. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm just really excited by this idea is that they just ended that scene with the jump to hyperspace. Like,
yeah, there's more.
There's a lot of years after that jump to hyperspace, and a lot more that we're probably going to see flash back. So it's going to be really cool to see how long he stays with this Jedi, if he changes hands with somebody. At what point did he get captured by the bounty hunters and was on that desert planet where we met him in the first place?
What if Kelleron Beck?
It's gonna be cool to see
crazy.
how it kind of builds up to that.
What if Kelleron Beck is friends with Mace Windu and he takes him to Mace?
Please, God.
Don't get his hopes up.
Please, God.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, no, that was
if you
really
say
cool.
it, so will be so. It will be so.
Yeah. Anyways, so after that whole sequence is really cool. It was really cool to see, to get an answer to that question of, who saved Grogu. And then we do get the Beskar after that. So after that, it pretty much cuts to the Mandalorians on their pursuit for the Foundling. And they kind of have a cool interaction by the fire. Who remembers what happened?
Are you referring to where they all go off to eat?
Yeah. So
yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting too. I thought that was kind of a lot of respect that was shown that I was not expecting to have been shown that way. Because Bo-Katan has been an apostate forever, and everyone looks at her like the person that, or her family at least, that killed Mandalore practically.
Right.
And then for her to get the respect of, oh no, everyone else goes into the dark to eat. You can stay by the fire and stay warm and eat and show your face. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
A neat layer to add to it that wasn't necessary, but a neat detail.
Well, it's kind of like they all know what's up and what the protocol is, but it's like, okay, we're gonna turn our heads, Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it kind of adds to the layer of Bo-Katan and her internal conflict. Like, she's being shown this hospitality, and it's like, what is she gonna do in the future? Is she going to try and do like the good thing or the bad thing? I don't know. I just thought it was
I think what the big question for me is she viewing this as, just merely hospitality, or is she truly actually feeling like she's finding family? Like, what side of the line is she on? Like,
yeah,
it's really hard to tell because I think Disney's making a really good call by keeping her helmet on most of the time, because it's hard to read her. It's hard to see what the future holds for her character and her decisions that she's going to make.
Right.
So in that aspect, I say good job on that little detail there. It's keeping me guessing. So
yeah,
kudos
especially with the fact that they decided to destroy her home too. Like, that also is a big deal, because it's like, if she had her home still, I would definitely feel like she's conniving something. But now that she has nothing, literally now, she has no team, no home, no nothing, just a ship. Like, yeah, she could swing either way, maybe. Cancelled.
How was it?
Canceled.
I was not expecting that. Okay. Yeah, no, I enjoyed that little, that little part of it. So then, we kind of move to the next phase, which is the pursuit of the Foundling and the Raptor, which I thought this was really cool, because you notice the Raptor like kind of dangles the Foundling like right in front of Paz, right? Do you think they intentionally showed us that to lead us to believe that it was trying to get a bigger prize by luring the Mandalorians in? Because that's kind of what I got out of it.
Nah,
I think that's just coincidence. I think if anything, it was to show that Paz Vizsla is this big hulk of a man that takes his religion very seriously, and we hardly ever see him break. And I think what that was showing was that this is just a guy in armor too that's also a father. He's not a stonewall all the time. If anything, I think it's character development for him.
Yeah.
You don't think it was weird that like the Raptor, like, it was like, remember in Finding Nemo when he's like, I seem to have misplaced my friend? Like, that's what it reminded me of, like the bones coming out. It's like, Why would the
I
bird
can
do that? Like, that
Well,
doesn't make
it's-
any sense.
He was
It
trying
was
to
literally
feed him.
going to feed its kids. I mean, it feeds
Yeah.
its kids live prey. You know, I mean, I don't think it was really dangling as much as it was just they're holding him there for a little bit more suspense cinematic.
A whole day has passed.
Yeah, that's the biggest to me is a timing thing.
Well, they
because
could be still hunting.
Well, so yeah, but no, listen, this is my thinking. Like, if it's come in to swoop, and it's like sees all the Mandalorians, is it smart enough to think like, oh, they may come after it?
nah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they kind of led on to believe that it's done this numerous times, and they've never been able to get to it because they've never followed it in a ship. I mean,
Yeah,
they've
that is
only
true.
followed
They did
it
say
in their
that.
jetpack.
Yeah,
No,
that
so I
is
mean,
true.
it's nothing's ever gotten that close.
Yeah. So
I don't know,
have no
I
reason
just-
to set up a trap.
I get that it was like for dramatic effect. I just didn't really. I was like, that was kind of. It just felt weird to me. I don't know.
You might be
Yeah,
onto
like-
something there. It might be a reason. It might be super intelligent. That might be why they kept the babies as trainable creatures. You might be
Yeah.
right, but
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I was more upset about the timing because he picks him up in like what looks like midday, and then they decide to sleep when they get there, and then attack it in the morning. So did the babies just not get dinner?
That's exactly what I was
Or-
saying. It's like, this makes no sense.
The timing of it's
out
wrong.
Out of all that, you're worried about if the babies got fed or not.
Well, yeah, yeah, Elijah, I am.
I'm a caring person.
Yeah. No, and
Yeah.
and I think the reason they bring him back is because aren't Mandalorians known to have mounts? Like, isn't that a big part of their lore?
Yeah, and so I wonder if like just to Gabe's credit, like the reason they brought them back is because they're obviously intelligent. They're trainable. I mean,
Yeah.
the most intelligent animals are the best animals because they're trainable. I mean, maybe it's intelligent enough, to Gabe's, point to where it might draw in more, more prey that way. You never know.
Perhaps.
Mayhaps.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I just find it difficult. Like, they've sprinkled in so many like lore things in this show. I find it hard to
Especially
believe.
this episode scene.
Yeah,
like
I mean-
all the little itty bits. Like
It's
it
like,
was,
yeah.
it was nice.
I just
Yeah.
feel like they've sprinkled in so much. I find it hard to believe that they would leave a cheesy detail in that without merit, And I think back about like the Grogu scene where he's doing the flips. Maybe they're showing us this kind of like janky representation because later on it's gonna be like really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe.
Before we get too much farther forward, I'd like to rewind just for a minute and maybe just pose a question to you guys because I don't know if you'll remember. But before Grogu and the head lady that we were talking about, can't remember her name,
Darth
go
Maul.
into the forge, there's two Mandalorians standing guard in front of the cave.
Mhm.
They had a couple interesting pieces of armor. Do you remember what it was?
Mm-mm. I was
No.
watching him waddle.
So I it may be nothing. It may be nothing, but it looked like in place of Beskar, these two Mandalorians were wearing clone armor in some aspects, not stormtrooper armor, clone armor. I don't know if that's true.
Oh.
And Gabe, maybe you could put in a clip of it, possibly, so everyone else can see. But tell me what you think. Like maybe you can look at it and then report back to me because that was my first thought.
Maybe.
If I
I
can
don't
find the
remember
clip,
seeing that.
if I can find the clip, I'll put it in for sure. So yeah, no, I
Okay.
I didn't even notice. I was too watching the child waddle. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Either way, look at it and tell me what you think because it'd be interesting to think. I mean, if they are wearing clone armor, could they possibly be clones like that have taken the creed and came back? Like that's just an interesting background detail that I saw.
Well,
I mean, yeah, that
wouldn't
would
it
be
be
kinda
like 20
cool.
years later.
Well, so they'd be in their they'd be Rex's age, so late
Yeah.
60s, or late 60s, early 70s, and he was still in fighting shape.
That's true. Yeah.
There
I don't
you
know.
have it.
Cool background
Yeah,
detail
no.
to think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it would. And if I can find something for that, I will. I'll definitely put it in there. But
I took a screenshot of it, so I can definitely send you a picture.
yeah, well, if anything, we'll. How'd you get a screenshot of it?
I took one on Windows.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right. Yeah, definitely email that to me or text it to me or something. So
Okay.
after that, obviously, that they come back, and the episode pretty much ends after that, right? Like nothing really happens. It's just kind of done, right?
No.
No. A big thing actually happened at the end.
Yeah.
What happened at the end?
She tells the blacksmith lady.
Oh,
in the forge
yeah,
that
yeah,
she
that's
saw
right.
Mythosaur.
What would you say if I told you I saw one?
That you saw what?
A mythosaur.
I would say you are very lucky. It is a noble vision.
No. I mean a real one. Beneath the living waters on Mandalore.
When you choose to walk the way of the Mandalore, you will see many things.
I don't know how I feel about her telling her. I feel like, especially if she didn't tell Din, I don't know why she would tell her before him. You know?
Wisdom maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because she's like the leader, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
But-
Din is obviously a fanatic as well. So, and if she has already shown like reasons, she's definitely got some PTSD and some paranoia. I could definitely see her putting some things like close to the chest or whatever.
Right.
It is interesting though, because the blacksmith lady, she's like, oh, you'll see many strange things when you walk the way of the Mandalore. Like, it didn't faze her that she saw a mythosaur. She's
That
like,
was my
oh well.
thing.
It's like, oh well. It's like, you would rather favor your beliefs than honor our heritage and like honor like what made us us. And that's what leads me to believe that
This is
maybe
the way.
she, yeah, I mean, it's just,
Well,
it just
I
leads
didn't
me to
take it
believe
that
like,
way.
oh, well.
I
mean,
feel
how did
like
you
she.
take it?
Yeah.
So I took it as like she couldn't tell if she believed her or if she thought it was a vision or if she's always known that the mythosaurs have never gone extinct and have always existed. It was very I didn't think of it as like zealot type. Like I didn't think of like, oh no, like
Seriously?
I don't care. I didn't take it that way at all. Like I took it as like, oh, either it's, oh, you just had a vision, or yeah, the mythosaurs have been around forever. I mean, I don't doubt that you've seen one.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't she just say that though? That's my thing. Is like, why?
Because she's
culty and it's
she's culty. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
so that,
mystery.
well, and that's my thing. Is like, here's how I take it. Well, if we're gonna get in the culty mindset, if she was like a cult leader of sorts, and she's kind of
Yes.
kept these people in subjection this whole time, based on a belief, because they think this is the only way now. What if she's worried that like maybe they won't follow her way and like maybe they'll follow Bo-Katan's way instead?
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, that's not an illogical thought, I guess, but
I
I
mean,
didn't
if
get that
it-
initially.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe I'm crazy, and I'm just throwing out what comes to the old duder's head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The old duder.
The old.
Yeah, I don't
duder.
know. I mean, because technically she's not the leader, anyways. Din is.
I mean, Din has the dark saber.
yeah, it was. Yeah, and
So
even though he
his-
was apostate for like half the episode, or that last episode, he's technically the leader. Again.
Yeah, no, I mean, he might not be the leader of that group, but whatever Din said, if Din finally steps up and says, "Hey, this is how it's going to be,"
Yeah.
I mean, they're by creed obligated to follow. I mean, unless they too risk themselves of apostasy.
Yeah, and that's why her not telling him first confuses me, because she knows he has a dark saber, especially her.
It seems
you know?
kind of tricky now that you mention it.
And then like she tells her, so like I don't know, she might have all of them turn on Din, because if they all want somebody else to be, I don't know, because
What's more important, having a dark saber or riding a mythosaur?
exactly, yeah. And also the fact, like you kind of touched on it, that like it's like of course they've never ever said, like I'm sure in the books they have or that, but like in the movies or in the shows, have they ever said they're extinct?
No, it just says legendary.
Yeah, so like I mean I'm sure she's like,
I'm pretty sure. I mean, don't quote me on that, but that's what I've always understood is
and
just legendary.
yeah, I can't remember that they've ever said that either. So I was just like, well, yeah, of course, especially if she's like a high tier Mandalorian,
Yeah, she might have
Probably.
always known.
Yeah.
It might be a secret that's handed down for generations of her stature or her family.
Yeah.
That's a known fact.
Yeah. And maybe oh man, what's her name? The other Mandalorian. Night Owl.
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. Yeah. Maybe her father just never got to tell her before he died. You know?
Oh. That's
Because
a good point. Like it's a royalty secret.
Yeah, because he was royalty, and if she never ruled, why would she know the secret of, hey, he's actually alive down there, you know?
Or there's one.
Yeah. At least one. Yeah.
At least one. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I think that's the beautiful thing about the show is it just raises so many questions. And
like, they're doing a good job
gets
of
us,
wrapping
I
this
know.
in mystery.
And
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know anything could happen. And that's just a really cool feeling to have. But I would love to talk more about that. Let's move it along though. So I had some notes written down about what the length of this story, you know, how it's going to play out.
Well,
And I was thinking, it seems like they're going to keep at least Grogu around for a really long time. How do you guys feel about that? Does it feel like a new beginning? Because I see an opportunity to basically make a new Jedi Council and bring in other stories and bring in other stories from the expanded universe to make it make sense. Like, I don't know, the Yuuzhan Vong and things like that. It would be even scarier to try and take on that type of story without the prospect of Luke Skywalker being there, because, you know, he plays a pretty big role in that story. So I don't know. I think about all the, you know, there's comics out there. I can't imagine there not being a game where we play as Din, you know, or at least in Battlefront or something. I don't know. I feel like this is such a giant property. It makes too much sense to not keep them around for a long time, right? I mean, I could also I could see Din Djarin being like the new Han Solo of sorts. You know, like this fan favorite that plays a pretty big role, but maybe kind of gets phased out as time goes on.
I think he's already becoming that too. He's
totally
filling that darker scoundrel role. You know, he's filling the void for sure.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, who he is on the inside isn't how he acts on the outside isn't really how he is on the inside.
Yeah,
And,
he's very callous on the outside, but on the inside he's just a big soft.
Yeah, and I'm also still thinking about, like, we're focusing on Bo-Katan and her playing both sides. I still think he's not all in. Like,
no, I don't think so either. I think if it comes between the Creed and the kid, it's going to be the kid immediately.
Yeah. And then I also wonder if it becomes between Bo-Katan and the Creed. Like, at a certain point, who do you pick? You know,
do you pick the people that abandoned you, or do you pick the people that helped you when you were at your lowest?
Well, and also
that's
your life.
So that's the thing. Here's my prediction. No matter what Bo-Katan does, Din is going to help her because she saved his life 2 episodes ago.
Do you think that's a guarantee?
Guaranteed. If it, like, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, like, Din is going to have to choose between Bo-Katan and the Creed.
Yeah, and then also in the previous seasons, she saved his butt a couple times.
Totally. So I mean, he owes her so much, and I feel like they kind of showed us them kind of being on opposites, where she's like, "Oh, I want to get rid of this guy, like, get him out of here." I feel like they did it on purpose because it's going to be funny when they reunite somehow.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Well, actually, I don't know how the timelines fit in there, so I'm not going to say anything. But I don't know. It just raises a lot of questions. I'm gonna go ahead. I think about, like, the possibility of Mandalore being reborn and how that could be the next piece of the Star Wars universe. You know, because it ends with Rise of Skywalker, right? And it's not a very satisfying ending. Like, that's the farthest we've gotten in the story, correct?
Yeah.
Of canon. So could we see something to do with Mandalore, which is why they're focusing so much on it? Could that be the next, like, saga a next like time period where we're getting tons of, you know, games and comics and books and movies and TV shows and stuff around that. I see that as being like a really cool possibility, especially since, you know, Mandalorians could very easily take the place of clones, and like filling that void and kind of showing the different stages of, you know, military and how it's kind of cyclical, because obviously in the prequel series we kind of get the war between the Trade Federation and the whatever Republic. Yeah, and then we, in the main story, obviously we have the Empire. In the series after that, the sequel trilogy, we get the First Order. It's like, okay, is there going to be maybe a good militant force in the next saga? Could the Mandalorians be that thing? Dare I say, could the Jedi Order merge with Mandalorians, and like therefore that is the new thing? Because I mean, I don't know. Like my mind goes crazy with theories as to what's next. Like that's what this episode did to me. It makes me wonder what is next for Star Wars, and I'm really excited to see what happens. It's no doubt that, you know, Bo-Katan feels conflict about what she's seeing, and we can obviously see her, you know, that's what we've been talking about this whole time. But I thought this was a really great episode. I thought it had great action. It was my interest is fully peaked. Like, I've been in a Star Wars slump for a long time now, and I'm like fully back now, and it's a good place to be. My mind is just going crazy with theories. What do you guys think? I mean, what's kind of your take on the episode / maybe any theories you might have, or what you'd like to see? Just general thoughts about where the story might be going, and any general thoughts you might have. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think with where it's going, I feel like like you're saying, it is going to come down to Bo-Katan and the thing. But the thing is, I don't see it being Bo-Katan's thing. I don't see her being the one that betrays him, because if she was going to betray him, it would have happened on Mandalore. Like, that was the opportunity to get rid of her. So in the future, it's gonna. I can already kind of see where it's gonna go. Like, unless they try to do a plot twist thing, which I don't know. But theory wise, I feel like it's gonna come. It's gonna be him and Bo-Katan, but she's got to be ruler though, right? Like,
that's kind of what I was wondering.
I think that's a given. I think.
Well, and it's like, you know, are they setting us up for like a king and queen type situation, or a queen and king type situation where maybe they are the, you know, she has the bloodline, she's the only reason that, you know, she's the one that saw the mythosaur, but he has the dark saber, like, you know, and therefore they can rule as. I mean, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. And it would tie, you know, it would make sense. There's not much of a love story there. You would draw all the, you know, the lady folk in. They like a good love story. I'm just saying anything's possible.
I don't see it happening.
They can't kiss with helmets on.
Yeah,
exactly. They've never dove into that. Like, how do couples?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, okay, so he's like, "That's my son." I was like, "Wait, like your son's son? Like, how does that work?"
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the birds and the bees. There's a lot of Star Wars content in the near future, and are we gonna get a slow burn for this next like saga? Is where we're at right now going to bleed into the future of, you know, where the whole Star Wars universe is going? I don't know. It's just exciting. It's exciting to think that we're living in a time period where we're getting to experience a prequel saga in the High Republic, and we could be seeing the next part of this universe unfolding in front of us, and maybe just a few short years.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they're doing now what they did in the past, because they did the original trilogy, and then they did the prequels, and then they skipped forward a whole lot of time and did the new trilogy, and now they can go back and technically do another set of prequels before that.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things that could happen for sure.
And then if they do jump over that new trilogy, they could do a lot of really cool stuff. I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, me too. Lige, did you get to give your thoughts about where you think it might be going?
I don't think so, and I honestly don't really have thoughts. Like I said earlier, like, this is kind of a toss up for me. Like, they're doing a very good job of keeping this a mystery for me. I mean, we went through what we saw in the trailers. I mean, we knew he was going to go to Mandalore, and that's pretty much about it, and that's what we got. And now, I have no idea where this goes from here. Is Bo-Katan going to betray Din? I highly doubt it, like Mikey was saying, but it's still a possibility. Is Din going to betray the Tree? Is Din going to betray Bo-Katan? Is it just going to end up being in Grogu, like always? You know, like how they always leave the end of a Mandalorian season. Well, I guess they didn't. Not the first one. Yeah, I guess not the first one, but but you get what I mean. Like,
yeah, it's not. It's just not. Yeah.
Pattern.
No,
It's a
it is.
pattern,
It
like,
is. They've
It's
definitely.
Din and
Yeah.
Grogu.
Yeah, they've definitely shown us that like this isn't always going to be this way, and I like it. I love speculating because whenever we finally get our answer, it's nice to get answers to, you know, these questions that we have, you know, throughout the seasons, and it's so unlike the sequel trilogy where we had all these questions that went unanswered. Well, the questions that we have, we're getting them, you know, but it's just that's just a slow burn, and I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. So I can't wait for next week. And Lige has left the building. Oh, there he is. Oh, you can hear us. So I'm excited for next week. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But that's all I got for tonight, boys. Do you got anything else you want to add? Lige, do you want people to be able to find you?
Yeah, Creep to Your Left on all socials.
Mikey, you don't want to be found, right?
True.
Okay. All right. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.